Jesus. I mean, trust me, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Home Barber Sports. I have esteemed guests from the Barbershop Podcast, Trey and Maestro. Guys, welcome to the program. It's good to see you. Good to be back on air with you. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time. How you doing?
What's going on with you, bro, man?
I'm chilling,
doing good. Man. Doing good, man. Thank you for having us.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
All right. It ain't winning no more. It's just harassment at this point with this.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. It's cold as hell out here.
Man, it's ridiculous, man. You know, I want to introduce you guys to the people on the platform. You guys, one of the beautiful things is we met because you guys reached out to me a few years ago, about 4 years ago. I reached out to me, had me on y'all platform. Now y'all coming back on. Introduce yourself and tell us how you guys became together and created the Barbershop Podcast.
Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, so me and Maestro, we've been, friends for about 23 years now. And, of the crew, we're the two that talks about sports the most out of everybody. So one day I'm in his apartment and he's like, hey, man, we could just start a sports podcast. And from that point on, the first 20 episodes, I'd go to his crib, we do the podcast. And then we get a email and a phone call from Doug Stewart. Shout out to Doug Stewart from Two Live Stews. Puts us on his network at the time. We do another 20, 25 episodes on his network. We generate a fan base, and it just kind of took off from there. It's funny, HRap, because I remember when you called in a few times, that was sort of our phase of the podcast where we were taking phone calls.
Right.
And it's just been, one phase after another when it comes to this podcast, chat rooms, phone calls. And then now we're kind of into a realm now where, we have guest appearances and, we do other people's podcasts and things like that. And so, ever since then, man, it's been good, man. This is 9 years. This is year 9.
It'll be, yeah.
Yeah, going on 9 years since doing this podcast, man. 2015 to be exact.
That's what's up. What's up? Maestro, talk to me. Introduce yourself to the people, man. Let them know
man. Local international player, Maestro Styles, man. Hey, producer extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? They say the ladies therapist. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
I'm about to say.
I mean, hey, that's what they call me on the slide. No home, no bull. That's what they call me. They call me ladies therapist, man. Nah, that ain't gay. I'm a ladies therapist, man. I know how to talk to these junks. But anyway, yeah, man. A lot of what Trey said, man. It didn't happen at my apartment though. It happened at his house, and I was like, hey, man, we should just do a podcast. Just come through the apartment and let's see how it works. And but anyway, you know what I'm saying. We 9 years and running, man. I do not miss the phone phase, man. I don't miss it. Like some of y'all niggas did not know how to hang up. Sometimes we had to hang up on a few of y'all because some of y'all, sometimes y'all be on the phone for an hour. Like y'all don't even got nothing to talk about no more. But yeah, man, I like where we've grown and evolved since 2015, and we just continue the evolution, man. Shout out to my brother, my boy Trey Frazier, man.
Man, it's good to have you guys on, man. That's a hell of a story. It's good to always do this, and I do. I remember when I was on Blog Talk Radio, and Blog Talk comes with a phone number.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a group chat, or you can have a group conversation, or you could just have individuals on. And yeah, man, you're right, man. Some people will talk. Next thing you know, your time is up, and you're like, yeah, see y'all next week.
Because they're like, we'll have, like, shout out my man Chief Rocker. That's my man. He'll come in there and just be like, man, I don't know what the fuck. He'll come in and have his little arguing point. And then when we're done arguing about it, it's like, all right, my man would never just get off the phone. He'd be
never hang up. You would just never hang up, man.
Hey, man, but what the Giants some shit, but what about that? All right, my man, Chief Rocker. My man, Chief Rocker.
Man, the good old days. But like you said, man, I am so far away from that one, man.
I don't miss that. I don't miss that shit at all. I don't miss that shit at all, man.
Yeah,
I
man. We
don't
got
miss it.
D Great and Purplicious, DJ Purplicious in the chat room. Thank y'all for the support. Hit that like, hit that share.
Yes, sir. What up?
You know you in there.
What's up? What's good? What's good?
Man, like I said, man, this has been a tumultuous week. This is the first week of the NFL playoffs. Everybody's on fire. Let's start. I don't want to attack that big topic first. Let's talk about this Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams. And it's funny to see, you know what? Even though I grew up on the LA Rams, I'm old enough to be LA Rams, Eric Dickinson, Jackie Slater, Henry Ellett, LA Rams. And it's funny to say the LA Rams. I've been programmed so deep into calling them the St. Louis Rams.
St. Louis, yeah.
St. Louis, yeah.
I still do it sometimes too.
Yeah. So talk to me. Whoever wants the floor first, talk to me about that Rams Lions game, and we can move. We can take it from there.
Hey man, what I'll say is and I'm making this public everywhere because about a month ago I said that it's a possibility that the Rams are going to end up playing the Lions, and I said Matt Stafford was going to smoke their boots. That's what I said. I definitely said it. So to all my Lions fans, shout out my man C. Hens specifically. Because everybody, you know, like it's just like, all right, I gotta be culpable. I'm on record saying a month ago that if this happens, they was gonna get their boots smoked, and that didn't happen. Hell of a game. But the Detroit Lions pulled it off, and so I got nothing but praise for the Detroit Lions, for handling business.
Trey?
Yeah, I wasn't as standing on business the way Maestro was in regard to the pick, but I gave it a few weeks, and then when we got to this point, I was like, okay, you know what? I think this could be the upset of the weekend, you know, with the Rams going into Detroit and, you know, knocking the Lions off. And I always thought it was going to be, you know, a great game. I thought it was going to be the best game of the six. And I'll echo what Maestro said. My apologies to Lions fans out there. And they got a great chance of getting to the NFC Championship game next week.
Yeah. I had golf fucked up. I ain't gonna hold you. I had him fucked up a little bit. I had him fucked up a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what, with me, man, this was a game that I'm old school. I'm one of the people that continues to say you run the win, you throw the score. And I had no thought. It was no thought in my mind, no doubt in my mind that the Lions would win this game. The Rams got a tough running back, but the Rams have caught up in this. The coach is a genius thing. At the end of the day, when you're at this point, when you're in November, December, and January football, it's about who has the biggest fist and who can continue to punch the opponent in the face as many times as possible. Sports is about attrition. And when you're dealing with attrition, the running game creates a wear and tear on the defense.
I agree with that.
If you want to keep pass blocking, you're going to allow the defense to attack and destroy you. Aaron Donald, as great as he is, he's not as dominant against the run, so you can neutralize him there. So I knew then, as long as Jason Goff didn't blow the game, I knew the Detroit Lions would pull it out. It was a tricky situation. And you know what? The sad thing is, this is as you both stated, this was the best game of the weekend. It was the forgotten game. This is the game that had you on the edge of your seat. You watched every play. You watched everything in this game, and guess what? Nobody's talking about it because of that other big game that we'll talk about in a second. Because that game has taken over the world.
Yeah, for sure.
This
like
game,
you knew it would. Like you knew it would, though.
Most
Yeah.
Rightfully so. The Pittsburgh Buffalo game it was the dud of the week. I'll take over there. This was the dud of the week. Nobody in the history of the world, no football-minded person in all of sports assume.
Hold on for 2 seconds. This nigga tripping. Hold on for 2 seconds.
I forgot Mike.
This nigga done forgot.
Hey, your season's over.
I don't give a damn. I don't care. Hey.
Get that out of here, man. Get that off my monitor.
Nah, he started going into ain't nobody in their right mind. I had to remind him. Because I ain't in my right mind. I'm crazy.
Hey, man. You knew Mason Rudolph was not going to pull that off. And Jay Cutler, little brother, wasn't going to pull it off. Man, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am a Mike Tomlin fanatic. I'm not going to act as if, look, when you are my age at 53 years old, you either love the Dallas Cowboys or you love the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was one of those. in between guys because I like the color black as you see it, as you can see with the aesthetics. So I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan because I like Joe Green and things of that nature. I played defense as a young person, so I was a Steelers fan. But you also had, as a kid, you had to like the Cowboys too because it was glamour and glitz. It was big time plays. They were throwing the deep shotgun, things of that nature. But I just don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a snowball's chance in Fishkill to beating them because of their quarterback situation. They are uber talented team. Their best defender was on is on the critical list. So I didn't think they could do it. They put up a better showing than I thought they would. Being a resident Pittsburgh Steelers expert, talk to us about your team as well as your coach.
Well, anybody who think that Tomlin is going anywhere, he ain't. We got him for at least another year, and to be honest with you, we talked about it. Me and Trey have been talking about it. I don't think he's going anywhere no time soon. If you can keep Bill Cowher, you can keep Chuck Noll, you can hold on to Mike Tomlin. Let him go through. Let him go through this franchise quarterback situation, and give him an opportunity to resolve that. And then you can make decisions after we decided we got a franchise quarterback that he may or may not be the answer. But right now we don't have a franchise quarterback. I didn't want to draft him. I didn't want him. I ride with my team, so we draft him and you hope for the best. But he's not a franchise quarterback. He's not the guy I wanted to pick. I didn't even want to, and Trey will tell you, I didn't even want to pick him. But getting back to the game, Look, I thought we had a shooting chance to win, but we shot ourselves in the foot early. All 4 touchdowns were a result of bad tackling or poor inside linebacker play. All 4 of them. You can draw back, and it was either a tight end wide open in the numbers or poor tackling that got them into the end zone. So so those were our Achilles heels all season. So they beat us exactly how we thought we were going to be beat. But with that being said, if we didn't have those early turnovers, I think we would be having a very different game. And obviously we had some trash calls in the second half that may have helped us. Helped them rather. But I'm in no way making excuses. The Buffalo Bills beat us. That it just is what it is. We'll be better when it's time for us to be better. But right now we don't have a franchise quarterback, and we didn't have our best defensive player.
Question for you as a Steelers fan.
Yes, sir.
The conversation around the National Football League is, you already cleared up the thing, and we already got news that Mike Tomlin is going to be back next year. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. I'm a big Tomlin fan. Me being a hometown Bear fan and a self-chosen Raider fan, I wish they would have fired him, but we got AP. Hopefully, we're going to get that situation. We got our own Tomlin. But people are talking Russell Wilson. People are talking a couple other quarterbacks. Do you think one of those guys could fix the problem?
No. If I had to pick, it would be Justin Fields, who was another rumor that I had heard going on, and like they might be going quarterback this draft. Justin Fields would probably be the best fit to change things up, in my personal opinion. But I don't even think he would change it. I don't think he would change it. I think I don't know who our quarterback is. I don't think he's in the league right now, though.
Actually, I believe that Justin Fields, I heard that as well, being in Chicago, and I do believe that they're going to trade Justin Fields. He posted something on IG because they extended the wide receiver today. But I do believe Justin Fields is
DJ Moore?
Yeah, DJ Moore. Yeah. Or they were talking about it today. He posted a picture on his IG with him and Moore, and it was looking as if they're going to be a dynamic duo going forward. But I do believe Justin Fields will help. If Justin Fields goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers, were under the tutelage of Mike Tomlin, they would just mirror the Ravens.
Yeah, right. That's my thought. We would just have to find out if Justin Fields can really throw the ball. And he hasn't. And in his defense, in Chicago, he hasn't had an opportunity to prove he can throw the ball. Exactly. He's been out there running for his life his entire career in Chicago, and so my reservation is I don't know if he can throw the ball in the NFL. But in his defense, nobody knows because he ain't got to do it.
So not that we watch a lot of college football, because we don't, but the thing that I hear all the time with Justin Fields, going back to his Ohio State days, is that he threw the ball at Ohio State. I think
Yeah, but it's college.
shout out ABM, but ABM always refers to him in college and says, "Hey, he can throw the ball. It's just that he's on the Bears, and the Bears haven't figured out how to utilize him."
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
and then it's college though. Like a lot of quarterbacks could throw in college and came to the NFL and couldn't throw it at that level. So I mean, like people, Tim Tebow was a quarterback, y'all. Like let's never forget that he was a quarterback. He played.
I don't think
think
people said Tim Tebow could throw while he was in college, though.
no, they never said that. He was a
They
winner.
never said that, right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, I think the more conversation was he was a winner. I take that back.
But you know what the thing is with Justin Fields and a lot of the black quarterbacks that come into the league, I believe the National Football League and Ryan Clark hinted towards this Monday morning, on the Get Up.
Yeah.
He said they need to get younger and more innovative coaches. What I translated that is, it's amazing how college football coaches somehow, some way get the best out of these guys, and then when we get to the pro level, they don't know what to do. I believe coaches in the National Football League only know how to coach Tom Brady. They know how to coach Troy Aikman. They know how to coach Peyton Manning. They know how to coach those kinds of quarterbacks. But when you get these dynamic athletic quarterbacks, they want to put a round peg into a square hole, and that seems to be the problem with a lot of these young black athletic quarterbacks. And it was also echoed by Cam Newton as well as Robert Griffin III on the Cam Newton podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I that conversation, I've been hearing a lot of talk about that conversation about why they're getting so much out of college athletes. I think, and I'll be honest with you, I think with NIL, a lot of that stuff is going to start to change. I think the major thing about college coaches being able to get effort out of players is because there's not money involved. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still pure. It's still the love of the game per se. You can push that angle of the love of the game when it's not money involved. And I think the NIL is going to change a lot of that for players, it's particularly the star athletes, where it's like, all right, well, nigga, I'm making more money than you. Who are you to tell me about the purity of the game? And people are going to start making business decisions and doing more individualistic things as opposed to team things, because now the idea is for me to push my stock up so I can get this NIL money. So I do think it's interesting. I do agree with that point, but I do also think that that scale is going to tip a little bit as more athletes starting to get money in college.
I totally agree. I don't have any pushback for that, because their money is going to change the thing, and you can see remnants of that in the National Basketball Association. No one is thinking team. No one is thinking ability to play. They're thinking stats and money. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think the group that benefits off of this, and I said this a few days ago, I think the running backs, I think are going to benefit off of this, because you know what it is now with this conversation about them not getting a second contract. Well, now when those guys come into the league and they're already standing on business as far as having their money, they're not worried like if they tear an ACL or they tear an Achilles that, hey, I'm still good. I don't have to fight back, to try to get more money. I know I'm hurt. Knowing I got this money, I'll be all right. So I think it's a game changer for the running backs too.
I think this entire season is a game changer for the running backs. The reason I think this entire season is a game changer for the running backs is simply because, as I stated, you run to win, you throw to score. The Baltimore Ravens, they running it down your throat. Philadelphia, stop trying to run it down your throat. Well, look at what happened.
Yeah.
The 49ers, they run it down your throat. The Detroit Lions run it down your throat. The Dallas Cowboys don't have linebackers, so they're getting it run down their throat.
Right.
Running backs and linebackers will cash in this summer. And I believe this is a direct result in people attempting to throw their way into the Super Bowl. With that being said, the Philadelphia Eagles got thrashed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talk to me, Trey, about that game, and what do you see going forward for the coach and the organization as a whole?
Yeah, so let me start with the coach. So I think they should keep Nick Sirianni. I think it's crazy to get rid of a coach that has gotten you to the playoffs every year he's been there. This is the third year. Got you to a Super Bowl last year, and now the fans are already saying, oh, it's going downhill. You got to get rid of them. And, you know, I hear all this other rhetoric about, well, they already got rid of a Super Bowl winning coach. Well, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Just because they did it once before don't mean that you got to replicate it, right? So, you know, and they should know better. I mean, Andy Reid has been there 14 years prior, you know, before, you know, the Chip Kellys of the world came in there, and then they got Doug Peterson there. So they should know about having stability at the coaching spot. So this whole nonsense about Nick Sirianni being fired, I think, is a little bit crazy for me. But as far as the game goes, right? So the Eagles got their ass whooped. You know, plain and simple. I gave the Eagles the benefit of the doubt. I thought because of their run to the bowl last year that they would find a way to get it together, even though they lost 5 or 6 coming into this. And I tell you, in Maestro, I wasn't as descriptive on our show, but the lack of tackling in that game was a problem, bro. Like you had Buccaneer receivers, you know, going free. I mean, kind of similar to the Bills-Steelers game. You had guys just, you know, breaking tackles, and, you know, the Eagles just not being able to wrap up and not being able to, you know, take the angles to properly tackle these guys. And so long off season in Philly. They definitely need to make changes, and I think the changes they got to make, obviously, and congrats to Jason Kelsey on retirement. 13-year career, Hall of Famer. Congrats to him, but they got some guys that they might not be able to get back. I mean, Brandon Graham, I forgot he's been there 13 years. 13 years. You know, Fletcher Cox has been there.
Right.
Yeah. Like they got some questions with some of these players and some of the vets that have been on this team for a while now. So, but the two things that they have to do, most certainly, both coordinators, offensive, defensive coordinators, they're going to have to change both those guys.
Maestro, talk to me about that.
Yeah, man. They got soul searching to do, the Eagles do, man. They put together, they did this whole free agency. They've been killing free agency for the past 2 years. They've been killing the draft for the past 2 years. So they put together this team for Jalen Hurts, who they believe is their franchise quarterback. And one thing I'm high on, I think a lot of teams should be high on, is that when you know you got a high caliber quarterback, you need to get that ball while he's young, while you can put all the pieces around him young. Get him that Super Bowl, and then you can kind of, when I give you this big payday, at least I can say I'm paying a Super Bowl quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what you want to do. They are in a situation where, you know, they paid him, and now people are starting to, you know, you got to pay people, or people got to leave. Jason Kelsey retiring is going to affect that offensive line.
No more brotherly shove.
No more brotherly shove. It's not going to hit the same. It's not going to hit the same. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham are staples. I know they got Jalen Carter. I know they got the other guy they drafted. And they got Dean. Barber. Yeah. So
and they traded for Byard midseason. Let's not forget that too.
Yeah. So they got pieces, but this defense is going to take a dip, I gotta think, with the likes of Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham leaving. I don't know. I forgot Hassan Reddick played with the team. While you forgetting Brandon Graham, I forgot Hassan Reddick played for the team coming off the year he came from last year to this year.
Yeah, right.
I forgot that dude existed. You know, so they got some soul searching to do. I mean, look, I'll also say this. Nick Sirianni, I agree. Nick Sirianni shouldn't be fired. I think what people should be paying attention to is that they lost both of their coordinators in the offseason.
Exactly.
They lost, but I mean, there was going to be, I guess they wish they wouldn't have had this drop off in November and December, or in December more so. But I mean, you had to think that at some point this was going to hit the fan, and it just hit the fan at the wrong point of the season. They should have been gelling and getting used to having those coordinators, as opposed to these coordinators being the reason that they are getting their ass beat by Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. I mean, I think everybody looked at this game and thought, okay, no problem. This should be a win. It should be a tough win, but it should be a win. And here they are getting trounced.
You could argue the drop off started earlier before the
Titans. Was it the Titans?
Right. No, you could have argued they could have lost to Buffalo.
Yeah.
In that
No.
game.
Yeah, right. Oh, right.
Lost to Kansas City if not MVS not dropping that wide open
Not dropping
touchdown.
that pass. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're looking at a situation to where they got too cute. In my opinion, they got too cute. Again, I hate to continue to beat this drum in regards to running, but the problem with tackling is your tackling traditionally comes when people run against you. You play the way you practice. I am an old school guy. All I hear is my coach, the late great, God rest his soul, Jimmy Fields, continue to beat that into our heads. You practice the way you play. If you're missing tackles in practice, but the thing is, if you are not tackling in practice, how are you expected to tackle and take proper angles in a game? And Nick Sirianni, he seems to be a great front man, but every front man needs backup guys. This is why the San Francisco 49ers continue to dominate. When you look at the San Francisco 49ers, you go to Josh Daniels down there in Miami, and he comes from that tree. You got Miko Ryans. He comes from that tree. His offensive coordinator comes from that tree. Yeah. They are setting themselves up to win in the future because they know, hey, just like with this situation, if I'm the head coach, you the assistant coach, at some point, if we get a podcast Emmy, somebody's coming along and saying, hey, Maestro, you want to show. Trey, you want to show. And that's the way it's going. It seems that the San Francisco 49ers are the only team that are playing for the future and saying, hey, you are the assistant offensive coordinator, get it together because they coming to get him.
They're going to get him. Right.
And they continue the situation to run.
Right.
They're not doing that for one. You're hiring and firing everybody after 3 years. And for two, you're not drafting into the future. We could talk about the Belichick way. We could talk about all this nonsense, and we could condemn Belichick now. But you know the great thing about Bill Belichick, when you got to the point where he knew he had to replace you, he was drafting your replacement. So when your money came up, he was saying, okay, you gone. And I'm going to draft a senior. I'm not drafting a hot shot junior. I'm not drafting a dude who's going into the draft. I'm drafting a senior, a guy who knows structure, a guy who knows how to play defense, and who has been tackling for 4 years. The Philadelphia Eagles and a team that we're about to talk about, they are not doing that, so that's why they continue to suffer. Speaking of that team,
and for context, Bill was doing all that while Tom Brady was the quarterback. You notice since Brady left, it ain't been the same. It ain't been putting out the same results.
You know what?
Since he left.
I think he's getting a raw deal with that. And the reason I say that is this. We conveniently forget that the first 3 or 4 Super Bowls, that defense carried Tom Brady. Carried Tom Brady.
Facts.
We love to go with the narrative that the quarterback is the main call. And I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it to confirm what I'm thinking. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. It's awful strange that the GOAT he's been to 10 Super Bowls and he's the greatest of all time. They made him and then they start slicing bread. He only has 1 first quarter touchdown in 10 Super Bowls.
So that is a very abstract stat or fact.
I did not know that.
What I'll say is because and I think me and Trey talked about this recently. 100% defense carried him for 4, maybe let's say 5 years if we're being nice. But for the next 15,
But let's not forget he had a 10-year stretch that he didn't win a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Sure,
but you can't just erase the undefeated season though. Even though they didn't close the deal, you can't erase that season. That was a match.
We don't talk about the Golden State Warriors. When they broke the Bulls record, nobody's saying, but they broke the Bulls record.
I mean, we talk about it. We just don't talk about it in that fashion.
So you're more on the Bill Belichick than the Tom Brady. If you had the Okay.
But one of the reasons I'm on that Bill Belichick train is this: what is everybody's knock against Bill Belichick? That he cheated, right?
Nah, well, I don't know. Well, I guess, but I think my knock on Bill Belichick is that if you don't I think his lack of being able to adjust a little bit. I get you have your way of doing things, but It's no way Chad Ochocinco is on your team and he doesn't get utilized. I don't understand that. Chad Ochocinco is one of the best route runners in the game of football. So the fact that you couldn't find a way to get that man on the field when you needed a wide receiver those types of things are crazy to me. Because if you adjust your way of thinking and get that talent on the field, then we're talking about having another high caliber receiver on that team when all Tom Brady wanted was weapons. That's what he wanted. You're asking him to create shit with
brick without straw, like Moses.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like my guy, like how bad, and that's why he went so hard in Tampa Bay. No, get me the best because I never had it.
But okay, with that being said, see this is I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah, I love this conversation.
Hey, but before we go any further, allow me to say I am a Tom Brady fan. I'm not a dejector of Tom Brady. But what I will say in regards,
we're not over here.
Yeah, we hate that nigga.
We don't like it.
Hey man, when you root for the Bears and the Ravens, you gotta have something to cheer for. But the thing is, I'm not dismissing Tom Brady. I just don't like the fact, and it might. I will go out on a limb and say it might be my former defensive player bias.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that, but I don't think that's what it is because it's amazing that we call him the GOAT, but everybody look, he came back from 23 points down against the Falcons. Defense brings you back in those kinds of games.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
In that particular game, though, the Falcons were doing some crazy stuff too.
But
I think against any defense, if the Falcons do what they did in that Super Bowl, any defense that's Super Bowl worthy is making that comeback.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, what about against the Legion of Doom? They shut him down in that game too. Remember, the Legion of Doom was up 17 points, and then Russ bought them back. What was the go that then?
And that is a Super Bowl that they should have lost. That is a Super Bowl that they should have lost.
And sure, there's obviously there's always variations and things that could have happened. You know, I'm big on Marvel and multiversing, but the facts of the matter is that they won that game. So it's did
they win that game because of Tom, or did they win that game because of the D?
They won that game because Pete Carroll decided he wanted to ruin that dynasty. That's why I hate that.
That's right. Second half scoring for Tom. I'm not. And then let's not forget the year before Tampa Bay, they was lights out defense. The year before, Jameis Winston just happened to throw as many touchdowns as he did interceptions. And then when you brought him back, when you brought Tom Brady down there, you solidified the line. You go get AB. You go get another wide receiver. You go get playoff Lenny. And that whole situation was playoff Lenny, not Tom. And again, the man, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the world. But my only issue is if the whole world tells me LeBron James will never be as good as Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan never lost in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the dude that everybody put Tom Brady in front of has never had a bad Super Bowl, let alone lost. He had 4 Super Bowls appearances, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, and the 4th one went to Jerry Rice, which means I could have got that one too.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I'm not going to agree with you, but that is a great damn point. He's undefeated, but.
Okay. It's a different sport.
No. Here's what I'll say, Trey. If Tom didn't have more Super Bowls than Joe Montana, winnings in the Super Bowl, but I think the difference is that LeBron don't got 6.
But the appearances. Look. When you look at LeBron, and again, I'm a Chicagoan. When you look at LeBron. The competition that LeBron has gone up against is much stiffer than the Bulls' competition.
I agree with that, but I can only play who in front of me. 1 and 2. Look. For me, the Brown versus Jordan conversation for me is not really about stats. It's about when you look a man in their face. And I ain't never seen them physically in their face, but it's a demeanor thing. It's a vibe thing. LeBron is busy being friends with niggas, and Jordan is steady trying to kill niggas. So for me, like, all right, LeBron got all the records because he's been in the league forever, and he's great. Let's be clear. He is great. But it's something about when you watch Jordan walk onto the court that makes you, like, he got the demeanor of, I'm the man, period. I ain't trying to be your friend. I ain't trying to be your homie. Like, it's obsessive. Like when you watch that the docs on him when he talk about that cat and the bullets, where he just made up something to get him motivated to bust. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a mentality. It's a mentality that Jordan has that LeBron clearly, and I mean clearly, just in how he does things on the court. Like, we like LeBron, but I think people like LeBron because he's a good person. We like Jordan because he a dog.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about basketball, give me the dog over the good person every time.
Yeah. And let's not just disassociate the impact between these two guys too. When you think about Jordan's impact on the game, when you think about I want to be like Mike, the commercials, the shoes, you know.
That's off the court.
That's
off the court.
I'm gonna say that's
sure. No, sure. But I'm talking about impact, though. Whether it's off the court or on the court, that's still impact. I'm talking about that versus, you know, the impact LeBron has had. And granted, it's a different type of impact in the times that we're in. But I think people look at Jordan's time in the league and they combine all of that, him being a dog, him not, you know, losing the finals, him not having the finals go to 7 games, you know, the shoes, the commercials, you know, all that stuff. Like, I think it, you know, all that combined is why, to me, Jordan gets that, you know, that step up over LeBron.
And I'm willing to give Jordan that step up over LeBron. I'm just saying, I don't understand how, if LeBron can't outdo Jordan because he never lost, we have no problem elevating Tom in front of Joe, and he never lost. And never lost is one thing, but I never had a bad game. We've seen Super Bowls where Tom that last one in New England, he scored 6 points.
Well, here's the unfortunate thing about sports. Unfortunately, old people become old, and young people are here that then all they have is their recent memories of what happened. I mean, truth be told, is we should be talking about Bill Russell, right? You know what I'm saying? If we're talking, you know, we should be talking about those guys. But the fact of the matter is that I wasn't there. You know, yeah. So if I ain't there to talk about it, it's almost fake for me to sit here and be like, Bill Russell, the best player to ever play the game, and I ain't never watched him. I wasn't there when he was doing it.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Maestro, man, I'm glad you said that, simply because I'm tired of people my age referencing these dudes from yesteryear. Like, I can't tell you anything about Havlicek, but you know what? I know Havlicek got just as many points as Jordan, just as many finals as Jordan. Statistically, but as Trey said, impact on the game means a lot. And just when we talk about Tom Brady and we talk about Bill Belichick, they both are equally responsible for those championships. And I do give Bill Belichick the nod, because if you're going to call me a cheater and you're going to say I was cheating and breaking all the rules, you had the benefit from me cheating.
Yeah, I'll tell you something about cheating that may not be a popular opinion, because yes, he cheated, but the problem is that I believe that was just a loophole, and he got caught in the loophole. Cheating is necessary in sports. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's necessary. Your dumb ass got caught. That's what happened. And that's just it. And that's just it. If we're looking, and I don't like the Patriots at all, but I gotta respect, and I know I ain't gonna say I know for a fact, but I know when we find loopholes as a Pittsburgh team, we're gonna exploit the loopholes. Exactly. Hey, you're gonna have to find it. You're gonna have to catch us. You're gonna have to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what it is, man. I think that's a part of the game. Everybody's out here looking for. There are still people running around with cameras filming other people's practices. It's still happening.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, right. It's still happening.
Right.
It's still happening. So nobody learned when Bill Belichick got caught doing it. Nobody learned. Yeah,
trying to get an edge, man. Trying to get an edge.
Nobody learned nothing.
And man, I ain't mad at Bill. I think Bill is great. I think Tom is great. I just think the fact everybody always say, well, Bill Belichick ain't won since Tom Brady there. Well, you give him a solid quarterback, he'll probably win. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about the biggest story of the week, the biggest team in America, America's team, the richest team in America. You got the floor. Talk to me about, how about, you know what? I'm going to do it like Jimmy Johnson did. How about them Cowboys?
My man got mad at halftime.
Yeah,
he was mad at halftime.
Man, I thought they was about to fire my man at halftime.
Yeah.
Hold down there, Jimmy.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I think it's appropriate. I'm sorry, Dallas fans, if anybody here, but I'm not really sorry. Y'all did it to yourselves. I think it's appropriate to start saying that this team, as it's constructed, might not have what it takes to win a Super Bowl. And look, I shout out to my man Ben, because I remember this time last year when they lost to San Fran. We had my man Ben on the show, and he said, "I'm done with Dak. Dak is not the guy that's going to be able to take us to the promised land." Sure, there are other things that happened in this game over the weekend, 100%. But if you're the 2 seed and they're the 7 seed, and you believe who you say you are, there's no reason, there's no excuse that this should have happened for you as the quarterback, for you as the defense, and all those things. This team got soul searching to do.
Period.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Trey.
So the Cowboys, they got their ass whooped. This is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Props to the Packers for having an excellent game plan of using, and I think you referenced running earlier in the show. The Packers had a game plan, and they said, we're going to take Aaron Jones and we're going to run the football, and we're going to dominate time of possession, and we're going to take advantage of play action. And you had Packer receivers wide open on several different plays. It's like, how do these niggas get open like this?
I don't know who that tight end was, who was like where there was nobody on the field.
Right. I'm like, no.
It was nasty.
It was bad, man. It was terrible, man. But I'll say this, and this is not a popular opinion, and Cowboy fans are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I don't think they should fire Mike McCarthy. And here's why. And here's why. When you go back, let's go back 30 years. They last won the Super Bowl in 1995.
Okay.
It is not crazy to say that during those 30 years of not going to the Super Bowl, Mike McCarthy is the best coach the Cowboys have had up to this point. I mean, think about it. Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett.
Don't forget the tuner, though. The tuner.
Who's that?
Bill Parcells.
Oh, he said the tuner.
Right.
That's what I said.
Parcells. So Parcells, like toward the end, but it was more so because he was Bill Parcells and he already had that cachet, coming into it. But when Bill was there, they only had 2 winning seasons out of the, I guess, 4, 5 years.
But ain't that when they made the conference? They made the conference, or they lose? I think they lost to Minnesota.
No, they haven't made the conference championship.
Oh, it was divisional. So they lost to Minnesota in the divisional. Okay. And they got. I just remember them getting smoked by Minnesota.
They lost to Minnesota. They lost to the Giants, and they lost to.
They lost to Seattle when Romo botched the. The snap. Yeah. So when you look at Mike McCarthy's time there, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. That's the most consistent that the Cowboys have been in the last 30 years. That's a fact.
I don't know that. See, now that you're saying it for the second time, I don't know that that's the most consistent. They've all of them is just the wild card round, just the wild card round. So I mean, I get what you're saying as far as regular season record. Maybe McCarthy has a better regular season record than all those other coaches.
Yes, that's my point.
But the result in the playoffs, and let's be clear, since the 90s, the Dallas Cowboys have never been playing for the regular season. Their expectation and their expectation is deep runs in the playoffs, Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's been the expectations, whether it's fair or unfair, because at this point, it's got to be unfair, in my opinion. It's got to be unfair at this point.
It's unfair. It's unfair.
Yeah. But if that's the expectation for your team, that's the expectation for your team. And nobody has really had more than 5 years maybe to prove their point.
Jason Garrett was there 8 years.
Yeah, he was there quite a bit.
Okay,
let's remember. Let's remember.
But in my defense, though, and yes, you're right. In my defense, we all know what the conversation was about Jason Garrett. He was Jerry Jones's puppet.
Yeah.
So he might get a little leash because he know how to kiss ass a little better than Bill Parcells or Mike McCarthy or the coaches that preceded him. So I think so, and so he's been there longer, but he's been there longer because of something outside of he was there because,
but it's outside of the expectations. Can we agree with that?
No, he stayed there not because he was a good coach. He stayed there because he was a good ass kisser, and that's not something on the field.
Is that part of the expectations though?
To be an ass kisser?
No. Expectations for them winning. For them getting opportunities to get to a Super Bowl.
I think they'll hold on. I think Jerry Jones held on to his mans because that's his mans. Mm-hmm. If you playing ball how I want you to play ball, I'll hold on to you for a little longer. I'll rock with you a little longer. If you ain't giving me we not meeting the expectations, but you my mans. I ain't gotta argue with you about shit. I ain't gotta argue with you about personnel. You just gonna do whatever I say. I might hold on to you for a little longer and to prove that I'm the real genius and not the coaches.
Yeah, let's remember.
Let's not. That was his issue with Jimmy Johnson. Let's not forget about that.
Sure.
He had issues with Jimmy Johnson because Jimmy Johnson was like, "Hey, you're doing this shit wrong,"
and he proved it to him. And he proved it to him.
And you know what Jerry Jones did when he proved it to him? He fired him.
Yeah,
because
he ain't get the shine. Because Jerry ain't get the shine.
Hey,
Jerry wants to shine.
This thing about Mike McCarthy, though. I want to hear this because I totally disagree with that, but I want to hear your point.
Yeah. Oh, about why he got killed. Oh, I'm sorry. We cut you off. Why should Mike McCarthy stay in Dallas?
Oh, it's because of what I said.
Oh yeah. So
it's because of what I said.
Yeah, I disagree too. I disagree too.
If the expectation is to get to a Super Bowl, and the man is giving you opportunities to get there versus the ones that,
But he's really not though. That's what I was trying to say to you earlier. He's really not. He got smoked by the 49ers 2 years in a row. And let's be clear. And I always told you about perception. Do you remember what the last play was when they lost to the 49ers last year?
Yes,
I'm with you. Yes,
I'd have fired his ass right then.
It don't look good.
Worthy.
Yeah.
I get it. The endings of these games, and especially this past one, it's not great. It don't look good at all. I totally get it. Who you gonna replace him with is the question.
Somebody who lost to the 7th seed Green Bay Packers, who you already had an issue with.
And who's that?
And
who's that?
John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, Bill.
I would replace him with. It's a dude that nobody's talking about, and a dude who was recently fired. I would replace him with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's a defensive mind. The reason
Pete Carroll don't want to play. He don't want to coach no more.
Can Pete Carroll and Jerry Jones coexist? Because at the end of the day, this is about Jerry Jones. At the end of the day,
okay. The reason I will hire Pete Carroll is because Pete Carroll has this aura about himself that he's selfless. He doesn't need to shine. All his players shine. You saw with the Legion of Boom. More than anything, the reason I don't like Mike McCarthy is this. I am a gigantic Dak Prescott fan. I was a Dak Prescott fan at Mississippi State. I wanted him to get drafted by the Bears or the Raiders. I've been on his team for the longest. Now, the reason I say get rid of Mike McCarthy is because of this. Everybody, look, I ain't getting paid to do none of that stuff. Yeah. But I watched the Green Bay Packers run that ball down the Bears' throat all month. For the last 7 weeks, my man Jordan Love had 17 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns, and one interception. You know why he has that?
Yep.
Because Aaron Jones was running it down. Everybody throwing the lead. And you got a defensive coordinator who is supposed to be the hottest commodity in the world, and he got 7 DBs on the field. So you mean to tell me you don't think one 250-pound man has a chance against a 350-pound man, and they running it down your throat? At that point, the coach is supposed to say, yo, what are you doing? When we in practice and when I see dime coverage, Mike McCarthy should have said, hey, you need to throw that game plan out in the garbage.
Right.
Yeah. You need to be putting Micah Parsons at middle linebacker, and you need to get some outside linebackers to stand out there with him. Because this dude's going to make plays. Micah's going to make plays. But he didn't do that. That's why you need to go, Mike. You are not paying attention to what's going on. If I could see this sitting on the couch, like, why they in dime? And then Aaron Jones, look, the first drive of the game made you go, it's going to be a long night. If that come out here and show out, it's going to be a long night. 2. Everybody, back from when Ray Lewis and them won that last Super Bowl, every time somebody come in Dallas, they go, this is the easiest game plan to read in football. So that means the offensive coordinator is a moron. And he said, coach is calling the plays, and he stepped up last year. I got rid of homeboy.
And he got rid of Kellen Moore.
Maybe Dak was pump faking and hesitant because he was looking out there going, they jumping this. And if I throw it on, bad. So this is why you take the whole coaching staff, you say head coach, OC, you driving and take them with you. All y'all go home. I'm bringing Pete Carroll because we always jump on Dak's back. And again, I'm a Dak Prescott apologist, and I don't have anything. I ain't ashamed about it at all. But it's one thing that all three of us can agree about with Pete Carroll. This is what we can agree about. When Pete Carroll gets a subpar quarterback, that dude all of a sudden elevates his game. So all of a sudden, you got an elevated Dak Prescott. You got a coach who will let the owner shine if he wants to, because Pete Carroll, like, look, I'm Pete Carroll. I'm one of the few people that won on both levels. And if I can go down here to Dallas and win a Super Bowl, I can start get that fitting for that yellow jacket, and I'm gone. Nobody will remember I didn't get a ball to beast mode if I can go to Dallas and win one. That's why Mike McCarthy needs to go.
I think he need to go. I agree with you 100%. I'm going to just say I'm always going to remember that because he killed the dynasty. He killed a dynasty is what he did, Pete Carroll. And that's just what happened. He killed a dynasty in one play, fucking play. So, I'm never forgetting that. But I think he's a Hall of Famer regardless, whether he wins the Super Bowl or not. I do think that. I do think that.
Carroll reinvented himself 3 times in Seattle alone. When he got there, he didn't have a quarterback. They made the playoffs. It was Legion of Doom. They made the playoffs. Russell Wilson took over. They made the playoffs. Geno Smith comes. He made the playoffs. Carroll, man.
Yeah, he the man for sure. What I would say, and to add to your point about Dallas, they also know Mike McCarthy is also very aware of who Aaron Jones is. Aaron Jones averages 123 yards a game against the Dallas Cowboys because he's from Texas. He got to go. He got to go. Respectfully, he got to go. The Dallas Cowboys fans that I consistently told to wants Dan Quinn to be the head coach. I don't know if I agree with that. But I do like it in essence because I want Al Harris to get that defensive coordinator job. I do want Al Harris to get that defensive coordinator job.
Hey,
but I understand your point about Dan Quinn because I think Dan Quinn would get in these guys' faces versus a Mike McCarthy. So I do understand that point.
But Dan people do Quinn forget how he did in Falcons with the Falcons too.
Sure.
They also forget put 7 DBs on the field against a team that's been running all.
They've been running. Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a mistake. Yeah, I agree. That's a mistake.
Dan Quinn, you driving. Both of y'all go home. Don't. They keep the headphones. Just go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm in Dallas,
so HRap, you think so? What you think? You think he gonna fire him?
He should. If he don't, the people in Dallas need to not go to that stadium next year because what do I need to see this again for? See, this isn't a happenstance. This isn't, hey man, bruh, 7 DB. I played DB. I was 180 pounds. when a 300-pound dude ran my way, I was like, business decision.
Yeah,
No.
right.
And I know that's what they're doing.
Right.
You know, Brett Kiesel running at you, you gonna go, no, I ain't taking all that.
Yeah.
You saw how they were gashing them and gashing them and gashing them and gashing them. Come on, man. If you put you and Dime against a running team, that would literally be like, you're a Ravens fan. That would literally be like when Priest Holmes and Jamal Lewis were killing it, and you go out there and Dime. And the Steelers show up, Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu, Harris, and those guys. Go get them. Boy, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Wildin'.
Yeah, Ryan Clark was crazy though.
We referenced his work earlier in the program. He was the coach of the Falcons.
Yeah.
So we know he's an idiot already. We know this is the dude who was running it down the Patriots' throat and said, Matty shaved ice, win it for us. So either one of these guys,
it was him, and it was Kyle Shanahan. I'm gonna throw his name in there too.
But he the coach. He gotta take
sure. But they also synonymize Kyle Shanahan with that collapse also.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that the leader got to be in. You got to take the most.
100%.
The captain of the ship goes down the ship. With that being said, man, we're gonna switch over to NFL, the National Football League. I'm a little disappointed in it this year. It's a couple teams that are at the top of the food chain that nobody's talking about. This is one thing I truly appreciate about the National Football League. The National Football League, if you are winning, and they don't care if you're the Browns, they don't care if you're the Bucks, they don't care who you are. If you win, they're gonna give you a showcase. That's what I don't like about the National Football League. But we're gonna start off like with Dwayne Wade getting the statue. Me personally, I think I'm gonna give it to you, Trey. I think the statue thing is being overplayed. Dwayne Wade is a Chicagoan, which means I automatically got a Chicago bias. And if you're left hand, I like you even more. But I got a Chicago bias. But as much as I like Dwayne Wade, you're not, in my opinion, nobody. Dwayne Wade ain't statue worthy. Talk to me about the Dwayne Wade statue, and then I'm gonna go to you, Maestro.
So, is this a statue in front of the arena in Miami?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
He the best Miami he played ever played a game.
He deserves that.
I get it.
And 10 times more.
It's biased. It's biased. It's cool. It's biased.
No, I love Dwayne Wade. I think this statue thing is for iconic players, the Magic Johnsons of the world, the Larry Birds of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the LeBron James of the world. Dwayne Wade was an excellent ball player, but immortalizing him, I think that's a little bit much.
Yeah, but in Miami, who was better? Like historically. Nobody. Yeah, I mean, I hear you because obviously he's not Jordan, he's not LeBron, he's not those things. But I mean, how many franchises have that? You know what I'm saying? Like if you go down a list of 30 teams, like I'm not at all suggesting I'm trying to think of a track. Like I'm not at all suggesting you put Elvin Hayes out front of the Wizard Stadium or nothing, or Gilbert Arena. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not suggesting that. But when you talk about Dwayne Wade, this like the moment, this might like LeBron doesn't. I don't even know that LeBron becomes LeBron without Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? I think Dwayne Wade. If there is a, he's at the very bottom of people who deserve a statue, in my opinion. Like he's at the very bottom of it. You know what I'm saying? Like so, but he is at it. He is there. The very best player.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
I don't know what that got to do. I don't know what that got to do with him on the court. I don't know what that. Yeah.
Right. I
don't know what that got to do
about his daughter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what that got to do with
nothing to do with that.
But on the court, he was him. Let's not forget it. When
HRap, he was called Wade County for a reason, bro.
I love him.
That's a nickname. 0-2 in the finals. He goes on to average 36.2 to beat the match. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, man. Like I don't agree with Chief Rock either. Clyde Frazier. Look, man. To me, it's just me. With this HRap, to me, it's only a few guys in the history of the league that deserve statues. Wilt, somewhere, because he played all over the world.
I was going to say, he played for like 5 teams.
Lakers. But Wilt is iconic. Bill is iconic. Bird is iconic. Magic, Mike, LeBron, everybody else are just awesome guys.
Steph Curry is 100%. Yeah.
One more guy, Dr. J.
Steph Curry is 100% getting a statue. Is 100%.
But hey, man.
Hey, Dirk is gonna get a statue in front of Dallas.
He got one.
Yeah, but I said Dirk got one. Yeah,
we do. Okay. Yeah. Those kinds of players.
Yeah, no, Steph is 100% getting a statue and deserving of. Steph is 100% getting one. Look, I get it, man. It's a new game, and I'm halfway between you and the youngins. I'm 40, so I'm right there. Like, the game is too soft, but I like shooting, so I get it.
I got mad. I was a Steph Curry fan at Davidson. I had a homeboy at Davidson at the time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, all this, we're going to leave that. Steph Curry, you know what, forget it. Let's jump 10 fingers, 10 toes into this.
Yes, I like it.
When you are not iconic, when your coach is telling the world the load is too much for you. I'm sorry.
Just recently? No, I'm not responsible for what my coach saying, trying to get the pressure off me because I'm the man. I ain't responsible for that.
Okay, this is another thing. Let's say I relent and give Dwayne Wade his statue. Not a problem. Okay. He's a Chicagoan. He's my man. I'm rocking with Wade. But this is what I'm saying. The reason Wade he can have a statue in my world then is because no matter what team you put Dwayne Wade on, it's going to be a difference made.
I mean, he went to Chicago. He went to Chicago.
Y'all telling me if you put Steph Curry on the Bulls, it's a difference?
He's shooting everybody. He's still shooting everybody face off.
Right. He's still the greatest shooter, though.
That's eight.
Here's where I'll give you credit. Here's where I'll give you credit. Steph Curry would not be Steph Curry now if it wasn't for the system of the Golden State Warriors. 100%. But to sit here and say that Steph Curry wouldn't go anywhere and
make a difference. No, I don't mean anybody can put up numbers. If Steph Curry showed up at another team, he'd be Gilbert Arenas.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. His individual skill is not that. You know what I'm saying? He's not that dude. If you had to play him one-on-one, Dwayne Wade is smoking Steph Curry's boots. There ain't no question about that. Yes. But if we're talking about careers and the situation you've been put in and how you've taken advantage of the position that you've been put in,
there's no doubt that Steph Curry is a dog. No
Hall
doubt.
of Famer. Give him his statue.
Top 75.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, man. You got to be iconic to get
but unfortunately,
Steph Curry is iconic.
Unfortunately, HRap, it's a team game. And he took advantage of being the man in a team game.
Yeah.
Look, Gilbert Arenas
merch nothing.
Yes. Steph Curry can't beat Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas is a better individual basketball player than Steph Curry. Like, let's be clear. One-on-one basketball, Steph Curry ain't the man. I think Dame Lillard would beat him one-on-one if we're talking about one-on-one basketball, but it's a team.
I'm talking about putting a team on your back in any situation and elevating that team.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Steph has done that.
But his argument is that Steph can't do it on different teams. My argument would be that any coach that got Steph Curry on their team would be an idiot to not change the dynamic of that team to do something more like what Golden State does. If you bring a Steph Curry,
but how many of them guys have done it on different teams though? LeBron is the one.
What I'm saying is this: not that you can't. What I'm saying is this: if Steph Curry was in Allen Iverson's situation, does he get a team to the finals?
No.
That's why you don't deserve a statue. If Dwayne Wade was in Allen Iverson's situation, he'd get a statue.
Here's why I'm going to, and let's be clear, Allen Iverson's better than Steph Curry too. As an overall basketball player, I'm with you. But again, here's the thing: one is a different game. Two, everybody on the Sixers, the other four, were given specific roles. Larry Brown don't get enough credit. Larry Brown don't get enough credit. He don't get enough credit because everybody said, "Get the fuck out, go the fuck to the rim, and let Allen Iverson shoot."
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So maybe Aaron McKee got a couple jumpers every now and then, but Eric Snow might have got one off. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else had to rebound and get their shit off the rebound.
Yep.
So when you put Allen Iverson in that position, obviously he got to do it, but he got all the opportunity. He got the keys to do it. So I don't know. So because if Larry Brown is Steph Curry's coach, maybe. Maybe.
I love, and see, when you say things like this, people go, "You don't like him." I love Steph Curry. I think he's an awesome ball player.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the fan club. If it's a fan club somewhere, sign me up. But I just think we throw this thing around like you can be an awesome ball player. You can be a game changer. But it's levels to this. It's like when you talk about the Hall of Fame in any sport, you got Michael Irvin, you got Sterling. Well, Sterling ain't there yet. You got Jerry Rice, you got a bunch of other receivers, you got T.O. and those guys, and then you got the Art Monks of the world, and you got those guys, right? I'm saying they're not. He's not where they are. He's not a Jerry Rice.
I get what you're saying, though.
But I think that's media. I think he was just as good as Jerry Rice. Art Monk. Okay.
You know what?
But HRap. I think you separate them because of the numbers.
But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
You got Mike. You got Barkley. You got Akeem, and then you got my favorite player of all time, Isaiah Thomas. He's not on their level. He's not. He's great, but he's not there. And I think Steph Curry. Hey, to me, when I can clearly name 4 or 5 people that I pick in front of you, you're not on that level. I'm picking Jason Kidd in front of him. I'm picking Zeke in front of him. I'm picking Magic in front of him. I'm picking those guys in front of him without even thinking.
Though.
I mean, those guys were pure point guards.
No.
He's talking about players. He's talking about basketball players.
I'm just talking about basketball players because when you put wherever Jason Kidd showed up, the Dallas Mavericks were a joke.
Mm-hmm.
They missed the playoffs by 1 game. He goes to Phoenix. The Phoenix is falling apart. They became the hottest thing in the world. He slaps his wife, get traded to New Jersey, takes them to back-to-back finals. That's a difference maker. To me,
but you're not asking him to do what Steph Curry does, though.
No, but I'm talking about pure basketball ability.
Okay, but when you talk about pure basketball ability, in my opinion, you got to talk about what you're being asked to do. So there was a guy named Kerry Kittles on that Nets team who was averaging 30. You know what I'm saying? So while Jason Kidd was doing his thing as a point guard, the guy who was scoring points was, and then there was another guy on that team named Kenyon Martin. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So for me, Jason Kidd was a great point guard in the role of playing, like whatever you consider a point guard to be. Jason Kidd was the best at that. But if you're not asking Steph Curry to do that, and he wouldn't do it well. And by the way, he wouldn't do it well. But Jason Kidd damn sure can't do what Steph Curry does.
Hey,
he damn sure can't do what Steph Curry does.
But I'm talking. But I'm just speaking from a strictly a basketball perspective.
Right, basketball.
Right, because if you can't, to me, iconic ball players, life-changing ball players, you plug them in wherever you can unplug them where they are, plug them in somewhere else, and they will shine just as bright. I don't think my man gonna shine that bright. He's gonna put up no numbers. He's gonna light the joint up. Can't nobody check him, but he's not gonna be the Steph.
But the way that Jason Kidd played point guard, he had to set up people, and people had to score points. Though, if you made him, but he did, and he do it. But he did it. By the way, he did it. But if you asked him to do what Steph Curry does, is to come in here and win a game, score points, and win a game. I don't believe Jason Kidd can do that to the level that Steph Curry can do that. So I think So I think we talking about so when you talk about right. The apples and oranges. So for me, I think Steph Curry can go. I think what you're saying. I think the knock on Steph Curry is that Steph Curry, outside of that type of system that fits him can't be a pure scorer everywhere. Whereas Jason Kidd can be a pro point guard anywhere. Okay, so I get you there. But again, if you bring him to your Steph Curry, you bring him to your team, you'd be a fool to not change up the whole scheme of your offense anyway to make him do what he does best. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's apples, like you said, apples to oranges. I think it's apples to oranges.
Apples to oranges. No problem with that. Draymond Green is in a world of trouble. He punches people in the face. He's kicking people in the genitals. He's stumping people in the chest. Talk to me. He came out and said, "Hey, was that fodder, mindless fodder, or was that just, hey, I'm gonna say what I had to say to play again. I'm gonna hit you, then we go to you, Trey."
Yeah, he said what he had to say again. Look, man, let's be very clear about something. His career is over, meaning he's on his way out the door. Not his over because like his production ain't the same.
He's getting traded. He's getting traded over the next few weeks.
But even let's say he gets traded next week, he only playing for 2 or 3 more years. Like, what are you going to tell him now? Y'all been letting him do this shit since he's been in the league. What you about to tell him now? Oh, now, like, nigga, I'm about to be out the game. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. Let me get my last little couple checks. I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do, what I want to do. Look, he understands that. He understands what he is to this game. That IQ where he understands he got to be a bully is what the game is missing. And that's why he's still a vital part to the Warriors, even when his production is low, because they know he going to go in. That's what he's there for, to go in. Any team he's going to go to after this he should go to the Grizzlies. He should go there because that's who they like that type of energy. They like people who want to rough out.
Mix it up.
That's his game. That's his game. That's damn sure his game now. Why he not scoring, really assisting like he used to. Don't nobody really want to see his old ass taking the ball up the court the same. Like that's his game. You gotta respect it. Let's be clear. He was Defensive Player of the Year for these same reasons. These same reasons that y'all trying to find him and put him out the league for or suspend him for is the same reasons why he was Defensive Player when he was in his prime. So, nah, you're not about to get me to change my game now. I'm going to tell you what I want to say so I can finish getting my money, the little bit of money I need. I already got a job when I'm about it here. Let me get my little check, and I'm out. It's fodder.
Trey.
I don't even know what he said when he came back.
He said that he has the ability he never said he would. He says, yes, I have the ability to not hit people, not stump people, not kick people. I have the ability to do that. He never said he wasn't going to do it. He just said he has the ability to.
The problem is that I like stomping and hitting people.
Look, my man Draymond got his bag last offseason. And like Maestro said, his career is about to be over, whether it's with the Warriors or whether he gets traded, which I think because they talking about breaking his team up before the deadline. And I think he's going to be one of them cats that's going to get traded someplace else. So yeah, it's just Draymond talking at the end of the day. I could care less. I mean, it's over for that team. I gave him the benefit of the doubt too long, but this dynasty as it is now, it's no longer. It's done. It's a wrap.
Glad they got that last championship where, by the way, Steph Curry took over against the Celtics.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
Yeah, glad they got that last one, but it's a wrap. But I said it was a wrap when they won it. I said that.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. You know, when I said it was a wrap, when they signed Chris Paul, in my lifetime, every time you an old team, you sign somebody older than everybody.
Older.
you waving the white flag.
Yeah.
Now, before we close out, I want to talk about 2 more people. Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh. Thoughts on Nick Saban? I'm going to give it to you, back to you, Maestro. Nick Saban shocking the world saying, hey, I'm out. 2 fingers, 1 word. It's time for me to go.
Yeah. And get up out of here. Look, man, it's time for the young blood to get in here. It's time for some new legends to be born. I think Nick Saban, while he did play this NIL game last year, the transfer portal game last year, I think that I'm not from that class if I'm Nick Saban. Look, I made my bread and butter by scouting, recruiting kids who wasn't worried about trying to get money. At least in the collegiate level, I sold them the dream that we're going to get you championships and we're going to get you to the NFL that way. So now with these kids tell it like, why am I coming to your school now when I can go play with Dion, and he gonna tell me how to make this money for real in college. Why am I coming to Alabama? So I think he saw the writings on the wall. And was like, man, this is not my game anymore. This is not the college game that I grew to love and I learned to dominate. Let me get up out of here while I'm on top.
Trey?
Yeah, look, he adjusted the last couple of years to what college football was trying to do.
Oh, they're doing it. They ain't trying. They're doing
it. Right. But I'm talking. I'm kind of retroactively talking. But basically, it's a wrap. It's just time to kind of move on and let some of these younger coaches come in and be able to kind of adjust to, and not just adjust, but these younger coaches understand these kids now. They understand, NIL. You know what I'm saying? They understand what the landscape is now, and to be able to, the transfer portal and all that stuff and how that works. I just think it's just time for the old guys to, get up on out of there for real.
Me personally, I agree with everything you guys said. The only thing I can add to that is this. Basically, they're ruining sports. People got mad at me when I said years ago I wouldn't take a less money to win the championship, and Gilbert Arenas doubled down on it recently. He said, I see people selling their championship rings all the time. I ain't never seen nobody sell $300 million.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe that this NIL, and I want them to get so I want them to get 10 times what they can get. But it is taking the competition. It is making football trend towards what basketball is. Stats and money. I don't have no problem with nobody getting money. Hey, man, I'm from the projects of the west side of Chicago. I grew up on the north side of Chicago, right down the street from the Good Times Project. So I understand money. Money is money is money is money. But it's taking the competition out of this situation. And because we live in a capitalistic society that reduces your ability to think and make you think money is king, it is destroying this thing. And Nick Saban is getting out just in time, because it's going to be until we get to the point where people don't worship money in this society, we are going to continue to struggle. I'm going to take it back to you, Maestro, and we're going to talk about Jim Harbaugh, and then you guys can sign off, and then you tell people where to reach out, and then we'll sign off. I already put up a banner.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh, I think he's looking to he want to get back. He want to get back into the big game. I don't necessarily remember why. I was trying to make up some narrative in my head that he left the NFL for some reason, like some scandal or some shit, but I couldn't find it. So I couldn't remember why he exactly
he
why
didn't get along with the GM and GM and the president
in San Fran. Yeah, that's what Trey was telling me. Telling me. Yeah. But look, I can't say that necessarily worked out for him, because the 49ers don't miss him. But I'm sure somebody could use him. He was good in San Fran. So it's just like,
Chargers.
all right, man. Yeah, for certain. I'm sure he just on. Yeah, I'm sure he just on some. All right, man. Mission accomplished, and really more than that, man. Like, you're dealing with kids, and maybe you don't want to deal with kids. Maybe you just want to deal with adults. No disrespect to the college game. I don't really, but I'm, at some point it's like, hey, man, I don't want to tell you how to do your job all the time, and it's your job. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, people that come to work with a lunch pail and know they're getting paid every week, got a little different focus towards their craft than kids who don't really know if they want to go or if they're going to make it, or if they're just here to get a degree in computer science. He might just be tired of that shit.
Yeah. Trey?
So I want y'all to be mindful of this as these coaches are getting jobs and stuff like that. And I don't know if it was last offseason or maybe a couple of off seasons ago, but there were rumors about Jim Harbaugh coming into the NFL, some years ago. And basically what he was doing was he was pitting one organization against another for money, right? And I get he won the title, mission accomplished and all that stuff, but this has sort of been a theme with him, going back, many years ago, where it's like, okay, I'm going to pick the best job, but I'm going to pick the best job that's going to give me the most money.
Amen.
So I would keep my eyes on that because I don't think it's necessarily a guarantee that he comes back to the NFL this year, but it's certainly something to watch. Like it wouldn't surprise me to see him back at Michigan. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
With that being said, I totally agree with you. He does flirt with the NFL. I agree with both of you guys that he flirts with the NFL on a regular basis too, almost to keep the people at Michigan at bay. Look, y'all don't want me. It's other people that want me. I'm the hottest.
They're on me.
Yep. And the second thing is with the Nick Saban situation, we definitely know the world is changing at this point. And if you're a 70-year-old man, you ain't got a whole lot of energy for change anymore. You just like, look, get this done and let's make this happen. The most important thing about Jim Harbaugh, I believe it is he stayed in Michigan because he had unfinished business. Now he wants to go back to the National Football League to show them, look, I can win on every level. Me, Pete Carroll, and Jimmy Johnson, and Barry Switzer are one of the people who've done this. And I'm going to show the world I have the ability to do this. It's going to be an interesting situation, and this is one of the great situations in sports because this is why we all started these shows, because we want to have conversations like this and put ourselves in the best possible situation to be at the forefront of having these conversations. I want you guys to come back on him, put you on the screen together. And I want you guys to let people know where they can get at you and the times and dates that you will be airing on a regular basis. Because as I was talking, Mike, I didn't talk to you, but I talked to Trey on the phone. And I want us as a community, as a podcast community, start sharing ourselves with each other. Because look, I got this from a book I read from Dr. Bill Cosby years ago. If you can get 1/2 of 1% of the population to pay attention to you, you will have more money than you ever thinking about. We have the ability to do this. And I think that's why I want you guys. I want my people to subscribe to you. And I want your people to subscribe to me so we can continue to rotate this thing and make sure we all have the attention. And Maestro, Trey gave me a whole lot of information when we had the conversation. So we need to continue to swap. And if y'all need information on how, y'all new to stream, y'all, I'm good at stream, y'all. Let's get this thing cracking. But go ahead and tell the people how to stay connected with y'all and keep putting that stuff in that end of the bench group as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100% subscribe to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast on YouTube. We are live every Tuesday, 7:00.
Eastern time.
Eastern time. Yes, sir. Eastern time. If you miss us, we are on all DSPs. That's Amazon, that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, that's iHeartRadio, that's anywhere where you listen to where you can get a podcast, you can get the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You are not going to get me there. You are going to get Trey. So if you have any questions for me specifically, that doesn't include Trey. Like if you need some beats, some theme music for your podcast, those types of things, I am at Maestro Styles everywhere in the world. If you put in Maestro Styles, you're going to find me. So you can holler at me that way. But as far as the podcast, every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. normally. We ran it a little early this week so we could rap with you, HRap, and appreciate you for having us on, man, because it was a good. Every time I appreciate good, respectful sports conversations where everybody getting their points out, whether nobody can agree and everybody can agree. We can just have a sports conversation, move on to the next point. Everybody's points can be heard, and it's not a whole bunch of bullshit behind it. Just people talking sports. And I think that we at the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast, we always want to give you the raw, the real, but we want to make sure everybody point, no matter how dumb we think it is heard. But we just gonna tell you it's dumb. If we don't agree with it, we're just gonna tell you.
Or we just tell you you're wrong. We just tell you you're wrong.
And that's okay. But we want to make sure your point is heard. So that's what it is, man. Every Tuesday, Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. And like I said, if you missed it on Tuesday at 7, the repeat is on YouTube. The repeat is on all the DSPs. Wednesday morning when you wake up, it's there. So yeah, that's what it is.
I want y'all to hold on for a second before when we log off. I want to thank you guys for being on. I want each one of y'all to come back on the show that I do on Thursdays called Rapping with the HRap. What I do is introduce individuals to the world. Like you're doing beats, Trey gonna talk about the Barbershop podcast. Y'all both come back on that platform too, but I wouldn't do you because you're doing beats. The reason is, y'all know I do the show on Tuesday about community empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in this world has a story to tell.
Yeah,
I've had people on here for 95 years old, and I'm gonna have a 16-year-old dude. He's the number one defensive back in the state of Illinois. He just committed to Kansas. So I want everybody, and if you know anybody who just likes to talk, please introduce them to me because I need people, and I'm saying this on air live because I need people to tell their story. One of the reasons that is important because I show history points, and every week somebody's in my chat room and saying, I didn't know that. There are stories that are being told that our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, they have. And Mbate Pot wrote this book, and he said, every time one of our elders transition to the ancestral realm without their story being documented, it's like a library burning to the ground.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make sure that library does not burn to the ground. Thank you guys for being on. Hold on for a second. This HRap, this Hold My Beer. See y'all in 166 hours. I'm out.
Jesus. I mean, trust me, man.